The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And thanks for joining us on this Monday for DC News Now at 4. I'm Mark Hall.
And I'm Annalisa Gale. We'll get to those top stories in just a few minutes, but first we want to take a look outside on this Monday.
That's right. We're looking live at Roslyn. You can see the clouds are still here. A few sprinkles earlier in the day, but nothing, Annalisa, like we saw over the weekend.
That's for sure. Let's check in with meteorologist Damon Matson. Damon, it was messy.
Yeah, this weekend was just not fun, plain and simple. But yeah, at least we're not seeing the same amount of rain we did over the weekend as Ophelia's remnants have moved on to the north and east. But as you saw in that live camera shot, it has not changed much all day. The clouds left over from Ophelia's remnants are still here, and they're not going much of anywhere. Here's the satellite and radar picture at this current hour. Still plenty of clouds passing by here, but we don't have any green on the map as, again, most of the rain came to an end last night, even early this morning in parts of north central, northeastern Maryland, where some light sprinkles did hang on. But other than that, it has been a much drier day. Now, I bring up the wind speeds here because, well, we have a northerly flow. It's turning a little bit to the east now. And as long as we still have a north to northeast wind locked in place, folks, we're not going to see things change up much with our weather conditions over the next few days. You can expect to see more of the same. A lot of cloud cover that is going to stick with us here this evening. Temperatures, they've been in the 60s all day, and they're going to stay in the 60s as we head through the evening into the start of the overnight hours. But folks, the one thing we have not had much of today, it returns tonight. Oh yes, rain showers look to start back up as we head toward about midnight tonight. The question is, do some of these rain showers hang on and give us a rather soggy Tuesday ahead of us here? We'll have a full look at your forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. Developing now, a community in crisis this afternoon. Neighbors are shaken up after a quadruple shooting at a club on 8th Street that happened Saturday.
That shooting taking the life of a prominent D.C. realtor and former Morgan State basketball star Blake Bozeman.
Randy Bass is live along 8th Street near the club. Randy, you heard from someone who was in the club when it all happened.
You both. We heard from that witness, Aviel Robinson, telling us he's very shaken up, even traumatized after what happened to him here at Crew nightclub on 8th Street. He's traumatized, telling us that the sounds of gunfire, popping noises, loud noises have been very triggering to him in the days that followed what was supposed to be a very normal night here on 8th Street, where he'd been to Crew nightclub multiple times before, out with a friend getting drinks and hookah, where they've always felt safe. He said he felt safe until he was just a few feet away from the gunfire.
Well, after the shots rang out, I immediately, I fell down the stairs as I was just trying to duck for cover, and the only way that I could do was just fall to the stairs, and then I crawled my way out of the club. During the night, I'd screamed a couple times because it's just like, I just can't believe this happened. I can't believe this happened.
Yeah, he tells me he may start even changing his plans and going to other areas for fun. That's when he feels ready to go back out again at all. And as for the investigation, I checked in with DC police this afternoon, telling me no new information to share with the public at this point. No new photos, videos, suspect, cars that could have been involved in the shooting. So we'll be sure to check back in with police as we look for additional details. DC Mayor Muriel Bowser telling me this morning the department is really relying on the community's help to solve the case. Annalisa?
Yeah, Randy, thank you. And another big question this afternoon, how did a gun get into that nightclub in the first place? Were there security measures there?
Yeah, it's a big question I had too, Annalisa, and I spoke with Aviel Robinson, the witness who was inside the club, about that. I asked him about the security measures as he went into the club that night. He said it was like any other club he's ever been to. They're patting people down, checking in bags, but he says this time just must not have been enough. Live in Northeast, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now. Back to you.
Randy, thank you. Opening statements are expected to get underway tomorrow in the trial of former Loudoun County Public School Superintendent Scott Ziegler. He's charged with mishandling sex assault cases that happened back in 2021. DC News Now's Dave Laval joins us from the Loudoun County Courthouse. And Dave, why didn't the opening statements take place today?
Yeah, Mark, this pretty much came out as a last-minute surprise for attorneys on both sides. In non-legal terms, there's confusion regarding jury instructions. I want to make sure I read this correctly as to who carries the burden of proving whether part of a state statute is an element of the crime. That is expected to be decided tomorrow morning, and then the opening arguments will take place. Scott Ziegler pleaded not guilty to charges of conflict of interest and retaliation against an employee. His attorney failed to get the charges dismissed last week. The Loudoun County School Board fired Ziegler last December after the release of a special grand jury report examined 2 sexual assault cases that involved the same student. The attacks happened 6 months apart, first in May 2021 at Stonebridge High School. The other happened at Broad Run High that October. The report said administrators could have stepped in several times, but, quote, failed at every juncture to do so. Meanwhile, Ziegler's trial on a charge of false publication is set to start next February 20th. But again, the big story out of the courthouse today is opening statements have now been delayed and will take place tomorrow morning. We're live at the Loudoun County Courthouse. Dave Laval, DC News Now.
Hey, Dave, Ziegler is the second person connected to the school district to stand trial in the attacks?
Yeah, that's correct. You may recall jurors found public information officer Wayne Byard not guilty of perjury charges related to those attacks back in June.
Dave Laval, thank you.
Well, right now, the train derailment that happened in Prince George's County continues to cause some delays this afternoon. Hyattsville police say it happened near Baltimore Avenue and Emerson Street around 1:30 a.m. on Saturday. They say no vehicles may pass the train crossing until the tracks and roadway is cleared and repaired. The Mark Camden lines are expected to experience delays of 15 to 20 minutes between Union Station and Greenbelt Station due to single tracking. And history being made in Alexandria City Public Schools. Melanie K. Wyatt will become the district's first black superintendent. She's previously served as the district's chief of human resources and as interim superintendent while the board interviewed for a permanent replacement. Kay Wyatt spoke one-on-one with our Leonard N. Fleming this afternoon about her priorities, taking the reins for the district with more than 16,000 students. We'll hear more from him and her at 4:30.
Turning now to sports, the Washington Commanders were handed their first loss of the season as the Buffalo Bills came to town, and it wasn't pretty at all.
And we are still sporting with the colors today.
Absolutely.
But Sports Director Derek Forrest joining us as the team experiencing now their first Misery Monday of the season.
Yeah, Misery Monday indeed, as it was a brutal loss Sunday afternoon over at FedEx Field as the Commanders dropped the game by the score of 37-3. Now, the Commanders just couldn't seem to get anything going in any phase of the game. The team turned it over 5 times. Sam Howell was picked off 4 times, and he was sacked 9 times in the game. As for the defense, they couldn't do anything to stop quarterback Josh Allen, as the front four wasn't able to put pressure on the Bills QB. This was supposed to be a game to see where the Commanders are. And at this point of the season, they may not be ready to compete with the top teams in the NFL.
The only good thing out of losing is that you can learn from it. And that's what we intend to do, to learn what our mistakes were, learn what the things that we didn't do right, get those things corrected and move forward. That's what we're going to do. I mean, we're not going to, stay indoors because the sky is falling. We're going to show up, we're going to work hard, and we're going to get it corrected. This is a good football team, good young football team that needs to learn and understand. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to get your butt kicked.
Well, we're going to find out real quick if the Washington Commanders can learn from their mistakes and fix them, as the team will go on the road this weekend to take on the Philadelphia Eagles, with kickoff set for Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. Guys.
All right, Derek, thank you. And again, not a great Sunday for the team, but like Coach said, you take one on the chin and you move on.
Yes, it's okay. We'll get them next time.